My stepdad always said, my kids get everything first. I thought he meant financially. I didn't realize he meant emotionally too, until the day he skipped my graduation to go to his son's JV soccer game. He texted me, "You're smart. You'll have another one." My mom just said, "Don't make him choose." Years later, when he got sick and couldn't speak, my mom called me saying he wrote something down. Said only you could read it. What I found in that journal still haunts me. I was 10 when Ron moved into our house. It wasn't sudden. My mom had been seeing him for maybe a year, but the day his stuff showed up in cardboard boxes, everything felt different. Before Ron, it was just me and Mom. We didn't have a lot. She worked long hours at the diner, and I spent a lot of time alone. But she always made me feel important. She saved for my books, let me pick dinner on my birthday, and showed up to every school thing. Even the dumb ones, like science fair or spelling bees. Ron had 2 boys, Kyle, who was 12, and Mason, who was 9. They lived with their mom mostly, but they were over every other weekend, then eventually more than that. It started slow. A baseball glove for Kyle here. A bike for Mason. Then one Christmas, Ron bought them a PlayStation, and I got a sweater. I remember Mom looking uncomfortable about it, but she didn't say anything. At dinner one night, when I asked if I could take guitar lessons, Ron said, "My kids get everything first. That's how I raised them." He laughed like it was a joke, but no one else did. I looked at my mom, waiting for her to say something. She smiled thinly and said, "We'll see." That phrase became her favorite. We'll see. When I started high school, things got worse. Ron was loud, always talking about his boys like I wasn't sitting right there. At school, I got straight A's. I was in honors everything. I volunteered, won awards. Ron didn't come to a single thing. Not once. But if Kyle ran a touchdown at a game, we'd hear about it for a week. Mason made the B team in basketball, and Ron acted like he got into the NBA. I didn't complain. Not out loud. I just buried myself in school. If I couldn't get his attention, I'd at least get out of that house. My senior year, I got accepted to 3 colleges with full scholarships. I was set to graduate as valedictorian. It was the biggest thing I'd ever worked for. The night before graduation, I asked Mom if Ron was coming. She hesitated and said, "Well, Kyle's got a soccer game tomorrow. Championship, I think." It wasn't. I checked. It was a JV scrimmage. I gave my speech on a stage in front of the whole school, holding back tears the whole time. I looked out into the crowd, and there was Mom, sitting alone. Ron's seat next to her was empty. My phone buzzed in my hand right after the ceremony. I thought maybe it was him, saying sorry. Instead, it was a text. "You're smart. You'll have another one." I showed my mom. She read it and sighed. "Don't make him choose," she said. "You'll just lose." I didn't reply. I didn't cry either. Something went cold in me that day. Something that never really warmed back up. After graduation, I left Fort Worth and never looked back. I went to college in Austin. I didn't come home for holidays. I didn't call unless I needed something from Mom, and even that became rare. She'd send texts sometimes. Just small things, "Ron says hi," or "Kyle got promoted at his job." I never replied. She didn't seem to notice the silence. Or maybe she just chose to ignore it. I built my own life. Got a degree in computer science, landed a solid job, even bought a condo by the time I was 25. I didn't date much. I guess trust wasn't something that came easy anymore. One year, Mason messaged me on Facebook. It had been nearly a decade since we last spoke. His message said, "Hey, I know we didn't always get along, but I wanted to say you turned out amazing. I'm sorry about how things went." I stared at that message for hours. I never replied. The years rolled by. Kyle got married. Mason moved to Oklahoma. And Ron? Ron started to get sick. ALS, they said. He lost his voice first, then his legs. Eventually, he couldn't move anything except one hand. Mom became his full-time nurse. She called me a few times during the early stages. "He wants to talk to you," she'd say. I'd just say, "He had his chance." Then came the call I didn't expect. "He wrote something down," Mom said, crying. "He said only you would understand it. He's been scribbling things in this old journal. He can't talk anymore. Please, just come." I told her I'd think about it. I hung up and sat in silence for hours. I don't know why I agreed. Maybe part of me wanted to see him broken. Maybe part of me wanted closure. Or maybe I just wanted to know why I was never enough. When I walked into that house again, everything felt smaller. Older. Faded. Ron was in a hospital bed in the living room, thin and gray. Tubes ran in and out of him. His eyes tracked me when I walked in, and I swear I saw guilt in them. Mom handed me the journal. It was leather-bound and almost full. His handwriting was shaky and crooked, but it was his. I took it back to my hotel room and started reading. The first few pages were just notes, appointments, reminders, little lists. Then it changed. It became letters. To Kyle. To Mason. To Mom. And then to me. My letter was 23 pages long. And it didn't say what I thought it would. He started the letter with my name. Not kid, not your mother's daughter. My name. I had to read it 3 times to believe it. "Sarah, if you're reading this, it means I can't say the words myself." Maybe that's better. Maybe I'd screw it up again. I expected apologies. Maybe regret. What I didn't expect was the truth. "I never told you the real reason I treated you different. You were a reminder. Of a man I hated. Of a man your mom once loved." I stopped breathing for a second. "I knew your dad. We worked the same job site years ago, before you were born. He was good. Real good. Better than me. People liked him more. He made more money. He was younger, smarter. And he got your mom." I felt sick. When he died, I stepped in. I told myself I was helping. Saving her. But deep down, I wasn't just stepping up, I was trying to erase him. The pages were full of things I never asked for. His jealousy. His resentment. How he resented me for being smart. For being quiet. For looking like him. "I couldn't love you the same way because I felt like loving you meant admitting he was better. I know that makes me a coward. Maybe worse." He even wrote about the graduation. "I didn't skip it because of the game. I skipped it because I couldn't stand watching you succeed without me." I had to put the journal down. For a long time, I just sat there. And then I kept reading. The last few pages were different. Not letters, confessions. He wrote about an old envelope hidden behind the wall in the garage. Said it was for me. "You'll know what to do with it," he wrote. That night, I drove back to the house and went into the garage. Same dusty shelves, same rusted tools. I found the panel he wrote about, behind the water heater. Inside was a sealed envelope with my name on it. Inside were 3 things: a photo of me as a baby, in my dad's arms. I had never seen it before. A copy of a letter Ron wrote to a lawyer years ago, trying to fight my dad's life insurance payout. And a cashier's check for $86,000. The note with the check read, "It's what was left. I can't take it with me. I should have given it to you long ago." I just stared at it. My mom came into the garage a few minutes later. She looked at the open panel, the photo in my hands, and just said, "So, you saw it." She didn't cry. She didn't explain. She just stood there, looking tired. I asked her, "Did you know he tried to steal from Dad's insurance?" She said, "I knew he was angry. I didn't know he went that far." And that's when I realized she knew more than she ever said. Maybe not everything, but enough. I didn't take the money. I left the envelope on the kitchen table that night. My mom saw it the next morning. She called me over and over. I didn't answer. I left Fort Worth again, and this time, I didn't come back. 2 weeks later, Ron died. I didn't go to the funeral. A part of me thought maybe that was petty. Maybe I'd regret it. But I didn't. I didn't owe that man another moment. A month after that, I got a certified letter in the mail. My mom had hired a lawyer. She was trying to get me to sign papers. Something about the house, the estate, Ron's pension. I didn't care. I tossed it in the trash. That night, she left me a voicemail. I saved it. I still listen to it sometimes when I need to remember why I walked away. Sarah, I don't know why you're doing this. I did what I could. I was stuck in the middle. He made mistakes, but you're not perfect either. You shut me out for years. I loved you. I still do. But if you want to throw it all away, I can't stop you. I deleted her number. She never apologized for choosing him over me. She never apologized for letting him break me down while she stayed quiet. I started therapy after that. I realized something. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's just walking away. It's choosing to heal when they wanted you broken. It's building a life they don't get to see. 2 years later, I got a wedding invite in the mail from Mason. I thought about throwing it out. Instead, I showed up. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. I sat in the back. Alone. Quiet. Watched him say his vows. After the ceremony, he saw me. His eyes went wide. He walked over and hugged me without saying a word. Later that night, he handed me a drink and said, "I didn't know what he wrote to you. But thank you for showing up." I said he was right about one thing. I do know what to do with what he left behind. He asked what I meant. I said, letting it rot with him. Because that's where it belonged. With him.